Welcome back to the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton. I'm Connor Williams, joined by Callum Brannan, and we're going to be doing the extra time on the Arsenal Everton game, which finished 5-1 at the Emirates. Cal, give us your thoughts on this one.
To be completely honest, mate, I don't care. Like that's the only way I can put it. Like I want to come on and say I was disgusted with the performance and but I was looking at it, and if you looked at Frank's ideal starting 11, I think I counted 3 would start. So it's like we played our B team, and our main team was barely good enough to stay up. So I don't know what people expected really.
Yeah, I think I'm not going to lie. I think the attitude from Lampard was sort of similar to yours. I don't think he was really that fussed. I put this one down to a dial-in. I think he might have dialed it in. I think a lot of the players might have dialed it in. A couple of people I've saw say maybe the players were tired. I think they've dialed it in. This is a team that, let's be honest, dialed it in a couple of times this season, so that it's not like it's beyond the realms. But I think it was more, we're safe. This game means nothing to us. Absolutely nothing. The big game was Palace, and we got that out the way. Let's just get through it, get this season over with, and go again. And I think that was sort of represented on the field. Really, it was roll on next year.
Yeah, that's what it is. I think there's been a clear improvement under Lampard, I think, from all the players. I think, saying that he brought us from 16th to 16th argument's stupid because, well, it's teams around us as well. I think the fixture list was much harder under Frank as well, and some of the performances we got. But I've just been basking in everyone else's anger, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I've not seen many fans really care about this result. I think the anger comes because this isn't good enough as a whole. The season's been rubbish, and I'm a little bit concerned that because of the jubilations of Thursday, I think it's going to get brushed under the rug just how bad this is. I hope I'm wrong, and I hope the finger pointing and the protests that were happening mid-season continue, because I think there's still problems at Everton, and this shouldn't have happened. But in terms of this actual game, I didn't see a lot of people bothered, because I think it's more of a thank God we're still here. Thank God it's not, away at Preston next year sort of thing. I think a lot of people are just thank God. And also, like, obviously you had the final day relegation battle and the title deciding, which overlooked our game as well. And I know a couple of people were picking between watching who gets relegated and who wins the league, depending on the results. I must admit, I only turned the City game on once it was back to 2-2. I didn't dare watch it when they were losing, because I knew Liverpool were going to get goals. But I think it's fair to say most fans are just looking beyond this now, aren't they?
Yeah, I think that's what it is, because I think it does show a problem, but I think it shows a problem in the squad depth, which is something Lampard's already addressed, that he wants a more robust squad, I think was what he said, with less injuries. So I think it's just the idea that what we need to do is we need to strengthen the squad. There's a lot of players in that team, and I think in that second team, it shows, for all we know, that was Frank's way of seeing who on the bench can stay or go. I think obviously Van der Beek's going to go. El Ghazi, I forgot he existed. There's a few where it's just like, is it a test that what they could have done? I don't know. But I think it's just a thing now where getting angry over it is probably not the right choice, because I think Frank knows what he's doing. I think he's shown that. I think Kevin Thelwell knows what he's doing. I think let's wait. I don't think the board should stay, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, before we start fuming at the players and the manager and that, let's wait to see what actually happens over the summer.
Yeah, I think in terms of Lampard, it's a bit tough because he wasn't here for 3/4. I think probably Benitez probably stretched to about a half and a third. whatever that adds up to. So it's hard to judge him. I mean, I will say this: I do think he's tactically a bit green at times, and there have been mistakes he's made, but he seems to learn very quickly. For instance, the Palace game, absolutely first half, I thought we're done, and I thought it was down to him. But he changed it, brought Dele Alli on, and he quickly learned. He's not as stubborn as Benitez, which I'm actually a big fan of. If it was Benitez, he'd have seen 2-0 at half time and gone, right, keep it how it is, lads. Something might come out of this, and would have got battered 5-0 for Palace. So at least he's learning. And Lampard's already been thumped by Palace once, I believe. So he's learned very quickly from that. The players, some of them, I think, have to hold their heads up on this as much as the board. There are, like I said, there are a good couple of players who can be accused of dialing it in this season. And just because we've ended it with fans celebrating we're not getting relegated doesn't mean people get free passes. And it doesn't mean we should forget how horrible this season is. I know, people are still in jubilation we didn't go down, but we should have been nowhere near this type of mess. And that's on some individuals in the squad. And it's on, like you said, the lack of investment or the lack of investing in the right areas, because it sounds a bit silly to go, oh, it's a lack of investment, because anyone who doesn't watch Everton or isn't a fan will go, you've spent 500 million, haven't you? It's, if you're an Everton fan and you know where the money's gone, a lot of the players we spent that 500 million on have only just been shipped off. You can sort of see why. It's the likes of Morgan Schneiderlin, Wayne Rooney when we didn't really need him, David Klassen when we didn't really need him. Stuff like that. Fabian Delph, I mean, he's very little in transfer fee, but wages add up.
Oh yeah.
And as good as he's done while he's come in, and he's very good at, ironically, he's very good at the basics of football, which is, but I still wouldn't offer him a contract. I'm glad to see the back of him. Glad to see the back of Genk Tosun. He announced today the knee's off. So I think it's one of them, isn't it? I think winning on Thursday and then this summed up our season, really, in a way of jubilation and the fans showing that just how important the fans are, which, by the way, fans deserve massive, massive, massive credit. I think Erwin put here about Dominic Calvert-Lewin's Instagram. He thanks the fans, and so the club should. The fans have really helped keep them up. But yeah, I just thought it was like, how much the fans can pull you through a result, and then Arsenal just showed that we're not, there is signs that a lot of work needs doing over the summer. And I think you're right. I think a lot of it was shop window for Frank in terms of who he wants to keep. Maybe other people might buy some of the people out on the field. Out of curiosity, which ones of that 11 do you think will probably go that he played for Arsenal?
Right. Give me approximately 2 seconds to go on my phone and get the lineup up for you. Right. So who would go?
Yeah.
Right, let me get the lineup here, put it here. Right. So Begovic is not very good, but he's a backup. I like Iwobi now. Holgate can go, Keane can go, Kenny can go. Decore, I'm starting to get a bit 50-50 on. Like, I see all these stats about him winning the ball back 350 times a game, but then he passes it right to the other team and gives it away straight again. So the thing is with Decore, he'll get 8 defensive actions a game, but 4 of them will be tackles of him tackling someone he's just given the ball to. So it's kind of I like Decore, and I think he's shown that he can be good, but I think I don't know if he'd throw a strop about not starting, and I'd prefer other starters. I can easily see Dele Alli being a starter next season. But yeah, in that starting 11, but then even if you go to the bench, bench was really young actually, but Tosun's gone. There's a lot of players we need to get rid of, and I think that's the priority. Even if we have to sell them for cheap, like we did to Schneiderlin to Nice, it gets the wages off the books. It gives us a lot more money. Like Delph's contract expiring, it's going to free us up quite a lot of money, because from what I've read, we are able to sign players. That's not going to be a problem.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've heard mixed. I've not heard anything official on it, but people still are under the mindset that we're skint. I don't know how skint we actually are, but that's still the mindset of a lot of people. Even though I think FFP is reset now because it's been 3 years.
I don't think we're skint, but what I think it is the agreement we made with the Premier League was that we had to send them finances before we do a transfer or something like that. So we can't I think the only way we can like backload a signing really now is installments. So there may be, for example, we might do like a £40 million signing, the Dele Alli way again. But I don't see any big signings. I think seeing it being a lot of the Moyes Everton of picking the best out of the Championship and then letting them develop with us, or maybe going for a few unknown European names.
Yeah, I think the only way we spend big is if we sell big. Obviously, Richarlison is heavily linked today with Madrid. Dominic Calvert-Lewin is still being bobbed around at Newcastle, which is a bit of a drop from grace from Arsenal at the start of the season, I must admit. But he has had a tough season with injuries. Jordan Pickford's another one heavily linked away. I'd be gutted to see all three leave, but I think realistically, one of them definitely goes.
I think
sadly it's going to be Richarlison. Yeah, I'll be devastated when he goes. Like all three of them, but he'd be one of the last ones I wanted to sell.
Oh, he's my favourite post Moyes Everton player ever. Out of the lot of them, by far, he's my favourite.
I said this before in the news. I said that I've not liked the player since Tim Cahill as much as I like Richarlison.
Oh no, like you could put Tim Cahill, you could put Richarlison in that squad, he'd still be up there with one of my favourites. Just because it's obvious he cares. I think that's the thing. Is because I think this is going to be the one where if he moves, it's an upward step for his career, isn't it? He isn't going to do, like, for example, you won't see Richarlison linked credibly to Newcastle or another sideward step or something like that. But, I think there's a lot of available players this summer. I think I see Tarkovsky in the chat, and I know a lot of people, when we were first linked, were like, oh, what about Michael Keane? Look what he did. It's free. You know what I mean? Even if he's Michael Keane level, I think Michael Keane's okay as a backup. I just think he's on quite chunky wages. So for a backup, we don't really want to be paying him that. But yeah, and everyone's mentioning Keane as well. I think we are selling him this summer, aren't we? It was meant to be next summer, but I think it's now this summer because they want to buy him straight away and just get rid of him straight away, don't they?
Moise Keane?
Yeah. I think they're literally buying
to get out of that.
Buying him early to sell him.
That's a fall from grace for a young lad, isn't it?
I think it's 30 million there as well.
Yeah. We pretty much got the money we spent on him back, pretty much.
I think
to be fair, I think it might have been Brands that did that. Whoever's stitched Juventus up for that has done really well.
I don't know if they stitched them up though, did they? I think it's just Juventus written all over, isn't it?
I think they thought he'd be the Ronaldo replacement, which was incredibly daft. I think daft's the only word to describe something like that.
Juventus though, isn't it?
So if they manage to buy him now, that gives us a bit of breathing way.
And what, Richarlison 80, 90, I'd say we'll still be able to get. Because my thing is, with Richarlison is, maybe not 80, 90, but I could see 60, 70. I think we'll make a comfortable profit on the 50. Because I think the thing is, we've survived now. And let's face facts, I don't think anyone's expecting us to get relegated next year. I think we're going to go back to being odds on to finish 12th or something. So, I think if it's the thing where if Richarlison's not desperate to move, and if they want him so desperately, we know Real Madrid are desperate now that they didn't get Mbappe as well. So I just hope we're smart about it and say, well, you don't get him unless you give us what we want.
Yeah, I think it more comes down to if the player wants to leave as well. I've got a feeling that he this was the last one we got out of him because I feel like he felt like he owed us because we let him go Brazil. So I feel like this summer was him sort of paying us back a little bit. I hope I'm wrong. I hope they all stay, especially I think Calvert-Lewin as well. I think disappointing season, but I think I'd happily have him stay. He's had a tough. I mean, disappointed is in like tough for him. He's had a really tough season. So
I think he stays because I just think
2-2, isn't it, for him?
Well, that's it. I think for the price we'll want, other teams won't pay that. Newcastle might. But if Newcastle want to give us like 30 million and Callum Wilson, You know, I know he's a bit injury prone, is Callum Wilson, but I think if you can keep him, actually no, never mind, because we can't keep players fit.
Yeah, no, our injury record's pretty bad. I can imagine Callum Wilson will probably break his leg in the first game for us, knowing our luck.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. We'll get back onto the summer in a bit because there's still plenty to go through, and a lot of people are mentioning it here about the summer and the transfer. We'll go through the goals first, though. So there's quite a few goals to get through. We'll start with the penalty, the Martinelli penalty. Firstly, do you think it was a fair penalty? Is a fair result?
No, it's the same thing as the Rodri thing, isn't it? It's the exact same thing, which obviously the Rodri thing wasn't a penalty, so I have to agree it wasn't a penalty.
Yeah, it's very, very odd how one wasn't a penalty and then this one's been given. But in the grand scheme of things, they were working out, weren't they? If City had if we'd got that penalty, maybe City won the league. Which is all ifs, buts, and the maybes as well, though, because you could also argue if Spurs didn't turn up for the last half of the season. But I've seen a lot of people saying that now that it sort of equates to that, people are going, no, it was definitely not a pen, which is quite,
Me being one of those people.
It's best.
Me being one of those people.
It's Everton humour at its best, isn't it? Just sort of it doesn't matter now. 2 weeks ago it was conspiracy theories.
It's how annoyed they're all getting on Twitter as well. All the Reds, you're just baiting them in.
Well, especially I think Richarlison's enjoying it at the minute on Twitter, isn't he? He's baiting everyone.
He commented on that FIFA YouTubers thing, didn't it?
Yeah, that hashtag Harry. Yeah, he's really enjoying himself at the minute on Twitter. And then obviously not long after, you've got, it's literally like 4 minutes. Nketiah with Arsenal's second, a player we've been rumoured with the last couple of weeks. Talk us through Nketiah's goal, and then out of curiosity, would you take him?
Maybe. I don't think he's bad. You know, he's okay, but look at how many chances Arsenal get. You know, what a weird coincidence. Eddie Nketiah, when he needs a contract from a club, scores loads of goals just before his contract runs out. Weird coincidence. We've never seen that before. No, I wouldn't. I'm pretty sure we've been bit by this before.
Well, Arsenal definitely have.
Exactly. No, thanks. No. Maybe on a 1-year deal, as a prove-it deal. You know, if he does decent, re-sign him. Like one of those ones where we can extend him. One of them.
Mm-hmm.
But yet for free, it wouldn't be bad. But I don't think he'd want to play as a backup. And as I said, I think we will end up keeping Calvert-Lewin. And I wouldn't have much faith in Nketiah, Calvert-Lewin up front together.
Yeah, I mean, he's 22, so I'm more thinking if he doesn't turn out to be the finished article, at least there's some resale value maybe in him. 22 years old, some of a Premier League club would have a punt. Someone like a Norwich that, fluctuates in between when Pookie goes. They seem like the type that'd have a punt if he doesn't work out at us.
I think he's got Crystal Palace written all over him already. I just think
they've got Edouard, haven't they? But he doesn't seem to get games there.
Yeah, he's crap.
He's got a couple of strikers actually at Palace. They've got Mateta, who bagged against us, and Benteke.
The 6'4" guy who we put like 5'10" Mikalenko on.
Yeah, after just nearly snapping Gordon's leg in half.
Oh God, I could talk about that game all day.
Honestly, when I saw Benteke come on, I was like, part of me was like, oh, it's going to be an Origi this all over again.
No, I had no faith. I can imagine most people in this chat follow on Twitter, but I did like the little run through of the game thing, and you can just see lose faith. The faith slowly comes back up again. I was like, when Keane scored, I was like, I'm not falling for this. I'm not getting my hopes up. Richarlison scores. Just.
Yeah, it was mad. Having a look at, I'm going to go through the rest of the goals. I was just seeing where I can catch up on the chats because we'll go through that after we've gone through the goals. There's plenty going on in there. Yeah, the next one was it was Donny van der Beek, sorry. Dominic Calvert-Lewin scored in the last 2 games, and then on his last one gets an assist. It's not bad going for him.
Good cutback as well.
Talk us through Van der Beek's goal.
I mean, it was a nice goal, but it was mainly Calvert-Lewin's work, wasn't it? It was nice to see Van der Beek score in his last game for us when he's never going to play for us again, but that's not the point. I think, good goal. I think it's a good way for him to send it off. Not a good result, but it is what it is. I think Van der Beek's one of those loan deals we'll look back at and go, it had so much potential, and everything went wrong at the worst possible time. I think that's what it is.
We'll always have that Leeds game, I suppose.
To be memories. Fair, yeah, we should.
To be fair, he did get injured, and I think his missus had gave birth, so he was obviously on paternity leave as well. Spending time with her and the baby. It was, like you said, it was just a culmination, I can't pronounce the word, of things. And yeah, it just ended up he was missing more games. Our injury record's absolutely appalling. Classic Everton, but it's a good job it's a loan. Nothing lost really. He, like I said, he contributed where he did play. After watching him at Leeds, if he could have stayed fit, I was quite excited to see where he went on.
Yeah, that's it. But it's just, it happened, didn't it? He got injured like everyone else did. And we basically had 2 young Dutch lads on loan who don't ever play.
No, the El Ghazi one's really strange.
Best transfer we've made in the past 20 years, though.
Absolutely bonkers, isn't it? The next goal is Cedric's. Blasts it from the corner. Talk us through this one.
I mean, it was just, at that point, wasn't it? It was just, yeah, here we go. This was Man City last year all over again at this point. We knew what was happening at this point. We'd seen this before, and I think, because to be honest with you, I think this might be one of the ones I missed, because I had the Everton game on my phone, and then all the ones that were on Sky on in the thing, and I think I must have been looking down, and then Cedric had scored, so I can't really talk you through it, but I can tell you when I saw him celebrating, I was like, this is Man City last year all over again.
Yeah, it does sort of have that vibe to it, doesn't it? And that one was a darling as well. Man City were enjoying that they'd won the league. It was almost like a testimonial, and we rolled up to that with the same attitude. After that, Gabriel had also got amongst it. A corner goal. The set pieces need sorting out at us, I think it's fair to say.
Story of the season, really, isn't it? For defending set pieces, do we have anyone who's as good at it? Keane's okay. Keane's much better at attacking a set piece than defending one. Really Mina as the only player who can defend a set piece. So yeah, we need to completely.
He's got legs that are like Weetabix.
Yeah, we need someone a bit like a Mina who can stay fit. Just a big bruising body. Because
Tarkowski.
There's people saying Mina's going to leave, but is he going to leave?
I think it's more if the club can sell him for a decent value. I think for more people are saying, like, if you can get a decent value for him, sell him, because he's not very reliable when he's, injury-wise. But I can't imagine many teams will come in for him just because he is so injury-prone. It's a shame, though, because he's our best centre-back by a country mile.
Oh, yeah.
Really nice personality. He's just got a body that's fragile.
It might be a thing where, because the thing is, it might just be a thing where next season we just don't play him in the cup and stuff if we keep him. Just keep him exclusive.
For the bigger games.
Keep him exclusive for the league, because if Frank's plan is a robust squad, I don't think you'll see many players playing 35 plus games in the league if that's his plan. It'll be a squad of a few 30s and then 20s and then 15, and then I think a lot of players will get game time. I think that's his plan. I think you'll see like Isaac Price get a lot more game time next season, or a loan. I don't know what they're going to do with Lewis Warrington. He's been really good at Tranmere. I could see him getting a championship loan. I think Bramthwaite should probably go out on loan, to be honest with you. But yeah, I think we're going to have a surprisingly big squad for what we're used to next year, I think.
Hopefully, because I think that is one of the things that's cost us this season is depth. Then finally, because this game seemed to not slow down at all, Arsenal seemed to really want to hurt us. You've got Odegaard with a really nice goal. Yeah, summing up a bad day at the office. He turns past Price pretty much with ease, opens up the space and beats Begovic in the bottom left corner.
Yeah, Begovic stunk, didn't he? It's the nicest way.
Yeah.
Begovic was awful.
I think I've heard somewhere he's got his contract. I don't know if it's. I'll have to fact check that, but I heard that he had his contract extended, and I can't think why because I struggle to believe.
I think it's because we're probably paying him like a Mars bar and a bag of quavers to sit on the bench most of the season.
Was that not what Lonergan's there for as well?
No, but the thing is, he's even worse. Unless he's planning on making Begovic like a third mentor keeper and finally giving that Tyra a chance.
Well, I was about to say, I struggle to believe that anybody in our youth system is worse than him and Lonergan. I struggle to believe it.
Begovic is one of those ones where a similar reason why I think there's a possibility Rondon might stay is that people like him.
Well, I was going to say, Rondon is one of the ones we'll discuss later when we discuss the clear out because a lot of people want to know if we're getting, the clear outs. But yeah, I've got this feeling he was defo offered and his contract's not up.
You know what though? Before Palace, when he came off the bench a few times, he was actually quite good, and then Palace happened.
We're on about Rondon, though.
Yeah, like obviously he wants scoring, but like his build-up play, he was like that guy who he was a striker before Crystal Palace that we could bring on for the last 15 minutes, and he'd do a decent job helping us win the game. He was a big body who'd just sit by the corner flag, and it worked. I think it's the thing where Rondon might stay. I think as Semi's calling him, Big Rondonke's going to stay. But I can very much see someone taking his spot as the backup. I think he's literally going to be the, oh God, everyone's injured option, Rondon. I could see Sims getting a chance. He's been quite good at Hearts. I think Dobbin's got to go on loan, doesn't he? The guy, he just sits, he's a bench warmer. I think Sims is a bit older, so Sims we might chuck on the bench. Because I don't know what he's done for Hearts, but I think they lost. Did they lose to Rangers?
I think so. He's had an all right season. I've seen he's picked up a few goals here and there. But I think he is a little bit old. Out of the two of them, though, I heard a couple of times people saying who'd watched the under-21s that Dobbin is the more complete forward. He's got 2 goals in 5 games for them in the league. So he's played 21 games, got 7 goals for him. At 21 years old,
good player. I think I like him.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how he develops under Lampard.
It might be. I think because Dobbin's a bit more versatile as well. Like you said, complete. I think Dobbin could play on the wing in like a similar role to Richarlison, probably not as good. Well, obviously not as good, but I don't know. That's what I mean. Our team could look completely different at the start. It's hard to predict.
Yeah, it is interesting. I think in terms of because we are about to go on to the clear, I will go into the clear out and some of the players we're linked with. I've seen Tarkowski being mentioned. I saw Brennan Johnson in the chat before, so we'll get into him as well. But lastly, on the Arsenal game, looking at the stats, anyone who watched the game, I'm not going to go through, down every single one because you watched the game and it's pretty clear by the scoreline how the stats are going to be reflected. Just a tough sum up to the season. Nobody speak about it. Let's move on. Have an all right summer. And hopefully we won't be in this mess again for another... How long was it since the last time we had this problem? 20 years, isn't it? Pretty much, nearly.
Was it 99? No, sorry. No, 2004. The year before we sold Rooney, because then we finished 4th with Marcus Bent up front. The year after.
So that's our one go in 20 years. So the next one's due in what, 20.
Yeah. If we are following this tradition, though, of like finishing 17th, or we're following old traditions like we did with Wimbledon, in 1995 we won the FA Cup. I'm just saying.
Yeah, Wunderlist has put in 94 and 98. So that's our one for this decade. Let's just hope it's a while for the next one. I'm not too sure if I fully believe in superstitions like the FA Cup next year, though. Although I did quite like.
Neither did I until we beat a London-based team that played in Selhurst Park after being down by, you know what I mean? It was that Wimbledon coincidence was weird. I don't believe in them either, but that was weird.
I think the best one for me was that the Palace win was our 1,878th win.
That game was...
And I was just like, that one's a nice coincidence. That one is sort of special. I was a big fan of that stat. I think I can't remember the lad who tweeted it out, but it was a nice stat to write.
I know that lad tweeted out, and then like Alan Myers tweeted it, and the club tweeted it after.
Yeah, I think it was that. Is it El Bretland? I think it was. Yeah, fair play to him. It's an incredible stat to be sitting on. He must have sat on that, sort of open for a while. If he's
been sat on that for a few months, the form we've been on.
Yeah, so I think he's probably sat there for like 2 months. Like, when are we going to get it? But yeah, clear out of the summer. We might as well get into this because, like you said, it's an interesting summer. Hopefully, it's a big summer. Even if we don't spend big, we need bodies in and we need bodies out. We might as well get on to Tarkowski because that's today. You pretty much up for it then on a free?
Yeah, why not? I think he's got Newcastle written all over him because they're paying like 200 grand a week. But, 100% would. I don't think for the price, experienced, he's always been he probably should have moved 2 years ago, but Burnley just priced other clubs out of it. So, I think it's one of those where it's, 100%. With the centre-back, he is better than any centre-back we've got besides Mina.
Well, as you say, it's interesting you mentioned that because I was saying this to my dad because I saw some people aren't keen on Tarkowski, and when I was talking to him, I was saying this, but yeah, it's mad to think that. By the way, I'm also all for it on a free. I think a 2-year contract though at the top because he's 29 and we don't need him at 30, 32 bobbing about. That gives me Ashley Williams vibes, where a centre back's outstayed his welcome at the club. But for a 2-year deal, which I think Matty Elvin put 2 years as well. I was saying this to my dad 2 years ago, was it, when Burnley got into Europe and United were after a centre-back before they got Maguire. I remember them being linked to Tarkowski and nobody really batted an eyelid. Everyone was sort of like, yeah, he's a good not young, but like he's a good English centre-back, blah, blah, blah. Nobody batted an eyelid. Not compared to like now, and then now we're linked with him, and I've seen a couple of our fans going, I don't know if it's because Burnley have done poorly this season and that's affected it, but I'm like, 2 years ago he was going to go to United and I didn't see an awful stink over it.
My thing is, now with our fans, is I'm convinced some of our fans are like ostriches sometimes. Just head in the sand until the transfer window. And then they say the same thing every summer. Like we haven't just finished 16th in the league. Possibly, did we end up finishing 17th? After Leeds won? Or was it 16th? I think it was 16th. We finished 16th in the league. I don't care how much history we have. We finished 16th in the Premier League and survived by the
skin.
That's the expression, by the skin of our teeth. Any centre-back will do who is a decent standard.
Yeah, well, exactly. I just think for 2 years ago, people were, people would have been up for, if we'd said 2 years ago, we're going to sign Tarkowski, I think people would have looked at it a bit differently. But I mean, this is only a small minority that I've seen say they're not keen on him. A lot of people I've seen are saying listen, for a free transfer, don't be silly. It's a really good sort of deal. And Matty Elvin, like I said, agrees, and I agree with him. He said only give him a 2-year contract because he's 29. Fully agree with that. He's 29. Don't be giving him 4-year contracts. That starts to breach on the reason we're in this mess at the best of times. So Another Philip Mason put about Tom Davis's contract being up. It's not, I don't think it is this season, but
No.
you mentioned shop windows, Frank Lampard assessing the squad. Tom Davis did play in this absolute thrash into Arsenal. Is he a
Yeah.
player you'd like to keep?
Why not? I don't think he's a bad player. As a rotation option, and I think if we pay him like a rotation option, then that's fine. He's another one of those ones where I don't know. Do you know if we were coming off 10th? I'd say no, but we're coming off 16th, so it's like, as a backup, he's going to play with a lot of heart. On his day, he's a good player, in my opinion. So I don't see the problem in why not having him in and around the squad.
Yeah, I actually really, really like the lad, but I can't say if that's just because I think he's got he seems like a really nice fella with a nice personality, and I don't know if that partly sways my opinion on him, but I also think he's just a good bit part player. Comes on, he did it last year under Ancelotti. He'll come on, do the job, be a professional sort of thing. I think he's still got some use in this squad in the same way Fabian Delph towards the end of this season had some use. I think Tom Davis still has something to give this squad, even if it isn't a starter. And like you said, we need depth. So maybe we should just concentrate on getting rid of the players that we know definitely are done.
I think that's the focus. I think, honestly, it sounds weird. We should probably focus on depth more because I think that's probably what got us the most this season is not having any depth, for not having any backups for when people do get injured. I think it's the thing. So it's someone like a Brennan Johnson, which I don't think is going to happen because I think Forest are going to come up. And I think if they come up, then I think he's going to stay. But yeah, I think definitely. I've lost my train of thought. But yeah, I think I'd definitely keep someone like Davies. I think that's what we were talking about.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned Brennan Johnson. That's what Matty Elvin put here. He said maybe that's our replacement for Richarlison. Apparently, through the mumbles of the grapevine and Twitter, I hear the club are quite confident. I think the main issue with this one was going to be if Everton go down. I can still see us being slightly more attractive to him than Forest, just because we're more. You'd hope
I think it's the thing
we're more
where
likely to stay up.
Nottingham Forest get promoted, Brennan Johnson's price tag doubles instantly.
Yeah.
I think the thing is, right now it's that he's an affordable option because he's in the Championship. I think I could see us bringing in a lot of Chelsea youngsters. Someone mentioned it. I could see us bringing in that Broha who played at Southampton. There's somewhat going on about Conor Gallagher, but apparently Tuchel wants to play him in and around the team. So unless it's Chelsea are just going to take the money while they can, or maybe they've given up because he has had a pretty crap second half of the season. So I don't really know.
Well, Eugene McGeever's put here, Everton could sign Gallagher on loan next season, according to TalkSport reporter Alex Crook. I mean, take that with a pinch of salt because it's Alex Crook as well, and he's said some horrific opinions. And he also put Jim White and Simon Jordan were talking about Everton today. I can't imagine I'm going to look that up. I imagine it's going to be quite scathing.
I just remember that. Oh yeah, Simon Jordan will hate us again now. Did you not see that tweet someone put about his mum?
No, I saw he'd been quite critical. He's I know a lot of people say he talks sense, but for me, I think he's a bad wally at times.
I think he's okay, but I don't think he likes us now after someone ripped his mum on Twitter.
I don't think I'd like people if they were doing that to
mine.
But
I think he got badly outliked by us. Oh wait, right. If we keep, I'm not gonna be able to find it. So
it was just that he said about the pitch, and I get what he said the other day about the invasion stuff. But some other stuff he says, and I'm just like, I'll have a day off. Like some stuff he's right, and I go, yeah, fair play. But then some stuff I'm like, have a day off. Matty Elvin's put about Brozier. He said on loan from Chelsea, Lampard gave him his debut. I quite like the look of him. I think he's young. I think he's good. He looks like he's got a bit of physicality about him. He looks a bit brutish as well at times. I quite like him. Would he be one if we lose Richarlison, maybe just as a backup?
Who was that again? Sorry.
That's that Broja.
Yeah, definitely. I think I could see him. I think we'd sign Broha more if he was as a Calvert-Lewin replacement. I don't think we'd sign him if Calvert-Lewin stays. So I couldn't really tell you if DCL stayed. So I think he is a good player, but I think we're going to have two, not very similar, because I think Broha's a bit more mobile. I think Broha's got a bit more on the move. He's one of those big fellas that's like deceptively quick. But I think if we were going to get a Richarlison replacement and we're desperate for other signings to prioritise, Eugene puts it here, Emmanuel Dennis, Ismail Assar. Watford have got a few really good players to have a look at. And I think, I think we should be looking at those three teams because, I think, like, for example, surely Maxwell Cornet has got a relegation release clause.
17.5 million.
And what did they pay for him?
I can't remember. It's a decent price for Cornet. It's very decent. He's one that I do think is probably worth looking into.
That Brownhill as well. He's had a really good season.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if we ever go back for Dwight McNeil, because Burnley are apparently in a bit of trouble financially.
He's got to go.
Burnley brought him for about 13 million, so they'd make about 5 million profit on him.
Yeah, Owen, but we can get better than Dennis. I think the thing is about it, Owen, is we can. But I think if we got 60 million for Richarlison, I'd rather pay 15 million for Dennis and then prioritise other positions over striker. And then he put stay well away from McNeil. It depends on the price.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a massive fan of that Ismail Assar either. I know there's a lad who's a Watford fan on Twitter that I follow, and he's like statistics galore, and he's absolutely begging. He was begging for us to go down. Now he's begging we pay silly money for Sarr. He said he thinks it's that type of player that we'd throw tons at.
What? I didn't.
I think he's quite hot and cold. I think Sarr's quite hot and cold. I think, I think he's a bit hot and cold for me. Dennis, I don't know. I must admit the one time I really watched Dennis play was the 2 times against us, and one of them we made him look great, but there's a number of players that we have that effect on.
I think he's a really good player. I think the thing is with him is his goal tally, and especially in the second half, doesn't look impressive. But look at the team he was playing in. It's one of those where, like, what's he supposed to do, the poor fella? You know what I mean? He was scoring the goals when Watford were playing a decent bit of football, when they were all on form. But then when everyone else's form dipped, it's not the poor fella could do. I think for the cheap fee we could get him for, I don't see why not.
Interestingly enough as well, he plays striker, right wing, predominantly left wing. So he is very much in that Richarlison mould of can play, in the top 4, anywhere around that top 4. Versatility, that is massive for him if he's versatile. Because realistically, we have probably got to speak like we're getting, like Richarlison won't be here next season. Because I just don't think he will be, sadly.
Yeah. Owen Poyer, go get Cody Gakpo from PSV. No chance, mate. I'd take him. There's no chance we get him. There is an absolute lion's share of bigger clubs than us right now, a more prosperous clubs to play for right now, that want Cody Gakpo. And I just do not see. If we do it, I think we should go for him. But then if PSV say like 40 million, we turn away and go, nope, I'm not doing that. I know people might say, well, look, you didn't pay the money for Luis Diaz and look where that got you. But I think we were willing to pay the money, weren't we? But it was a Hammers problem.
The rumor is Hammers just didn't want to go play in Portugal. So, I mean, Gakpo, good player, but I think he's got, I could see him going to Leipzig, somewhere like that. I'd say Dortmund, but they're without a manager. Yeah, somewhere in Germany where he'll get game time.
To be fair, Dortmund's a good shout because they'll have that Marlon replacing Haaland as the main striker, and then Gakpo.
And they've got that Adeyemi as well, haven't they?
True. Yeah, they've signed Adeyemi, yeah.
Yeah. Matty Albin's put, is Idrissa Gueye available? A cheeky 1-2 year contract. I think he's sailed now, and I think it's
the club won't sign him after what he's done.
No, yeah, I was going to say I think it's probably best to avoid that now, avoid that altogether. But I think also, to be fair, surely his legs have gone by now.
I think he's been quite good for PSG when he's played. It's just the problem that if there's rainbows on your shirt, he won't play for you.
Yeah, he'd have to miss out the whole month of rainbow laces. I think he is. Yeah, the Wanderlust has knocked the nail right on the head here. We ideally now, I don't think I'd want him back. After that, so Wanderlust has put it right on the nail for me. I'd be looking elsewhere. And there are options elsewhere. There's that Sanga, is it? And
Sangare from PSV.
Yeah, from PSV.
Oh, I wish
he'd be a dream one.
I wish every time that T4 football channel makes a transfers video, rest assured he'll be on it. Yeah, he's a brilliant player though, but he's another one where I think all the top clubs are circling him.
Yeah, he looks to be quite an incredibly good player, not just defensively, but going forward as well. He's quite impressive.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure we were linked with Sangare as a replacement for Idrissa Gueye, but we ended up getting cold feet on it and not doing it.
He'd have been a nice like for like.
Yeah, and I think he's got a lot more ability on the ball than Idrissa Gueye as well, but Idrissa Gueye is probably a better ball winner. Sangare is probably what we wanted Gabamin to be.
I forgot. I completely forgot about him. I take it he's one you'd sell.
Do one. See you later. Cheese string legs. No chance.
Apparently he's been all right in Russia. There's hope that will drum up enough business for him to be bought.
Yeah, Moscow might buy him.
Yeah, well, I think I've got his Moscow stats here. He played 11, got 1 goal, 2 assists, got a 7.6 overall rating. No, obviously he's not known for his assists and goal scoring, but it's not bad. Not bad.
If he can stay fit, I'm not against giving the guy a chance, but he can't stay fit.
Yeah, I've never seen unfortunately, I've never seen somebody with such awful luck. Also, the Russian league is, I think it's also
terrible.
fair to say, yeah, the standard between that league and the Premier League is absolutely gulfing. So,
did most of the players not do a runner as well?
I think they could have done, couldn't they? I think they could have left under the.
I think quite a lot of the players left.
I know he's back at the club now, so whether he goes back to Russia or not isn't yet to be seen. But he could. I think there's other. He could go to Turkey. I think he'd be all right in the Turkish league.
He makes it to July before getting injured.
Yeah, if we could get him over the line before he hurts himself again, I think Turkey would be a good place for him. I think he'd settle there.
I don't think he's going to stay in England. Hasn't he got a driving ban?
Yeah. I think he's one of.
I don't know how it works, but if you leave the country for 6 months, does it just continue ticking on, or do they pause your ban until you come back?
I don't know how that works. I don't imagine many people who get driving bans end up going away for half a year. But yeah, I will have to. Someone's Semi Charles put that he completely forgot about Shabamin, and I had until you mentioned it. Then completely forgot he exists. Ahmed's put here, you guys are going to see the real effect of the Lampard pull.
I hope so.
Yeah, I hope so. I saw something the other day and we were linked with Tom Lawrence. But I don't know if there's any truth in that or if that's just I said to my dad, I was like, we'll be linked with Mason Mount purely because the affinity that they have.
Tom Lawrence is an okay player. Tom Lawrence is a good championship player. I got university here in Derby. I've watched quite a lot of Derby games this season, but he has also got the temper of a 13-year-old girl. I watched them against Peterborough. That was it. And someone got in his face, gave him a bit of aggression, and he instantly ran over and booted him and got sent off.
Probably don't need people adding to that red card list we've got this season.
He's a guaranteed Rondon what Rondon did to Crystal Palace in the Merseyside derby. Just coming on and crippling, annihilating Harvey Elliott because Harvey Elliott called him a wanker and then game over.
You know what? It'd win a lot of hearts. Funes Mori was
yeah,
pretty much a cult hero for it. He was pretty much a cult hero for a pretty horrific challenge in the derby.
I'm pretty sure that's the only reason Mason Holgate's still here, because that incident with Firmino.
Where he like pushes him into the stands, and Tom Davies is just watching on.
Tom Davies is like, I don't want to fight today.
That's a great, yeah. Well, yeah, anyone. It's like they revere Kite, don't they? Dirk Kite for his tackle in it, which was absolutely horrific. I think that's just sort of, well, they used to anyway. Now they don't dare because they've got a lot prettier players than us. They don't want being snapped left, right, and centre. But yeah, I think give us before we end, because I think we've done the outs and ins from the best we can anyway from what we're linked with, because it's only just starting to get silly season in the transfers. I'm sure by tomorrow there'll be another 10 names linked with Everton, and another 10 names linked out, because journalists need something to talk about now the football's over, and that's the transfers. Yeah, know it all too well. So give me your overall thoughts on the season, Cal. Obviously it ended on a high. I'll say a high. The fan base was reconnected with the club. It ended on a high spirit. But give us your overall thoughts on it.
Dreadful. It's the worst season of my lifetime, comfortably, because it's not. Like when we were down there with Silver and when Allardyce came in, we were like, right, we're safe now, no worries. And then that actually happened. With this, it was up, down, up, down, up, down, 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 down. And, it was... I think the one good thing about the season is I think it's brought the fan base together more than ever.
Yeah, well, the end does.
I'm hoping that's a consistent thing. I'm not saying like fireworks outside people's hotels every day, blue flares getting chucked on the pitch to waste time, but it's nice to see everyone shouting at Goodison, isn't it?
Yeah, I agree. I think this season's easily the worst one I've ever seen in my lifetime. I know there'll probably be older people that will probably reminisce a little bit, in the 94 and 98. I don't know if they were worse. I was born in 98 and wasn't born in 94, so I couldn't say. But for me, this is the worst season I've ever experienced, topped off with not just on the pitch, off the pitch as well. You had all the drama off the pitch. You had a manager that nobody wanted, nobody liked. I've never felt towards January. I was coming on here telling James and stuff. I'd never felt so disconnected from this club in all my time. I would hate watching us, wouldn't get excited for the games, just absolutely destroyed. And then towards the end, I will admit, Lampard has managed to reconnect myself. Well, Lampard, the players, the fans have managed to reconnect that. I'm personally a lot more excited now for the games and stuff than I was under Benitez. I think it's a tough one, wasn't it? Like, all I can think is on Sunday, I was like, if they win the league and then they win the Champions League, they get quadruple. Even after this season and we didn't get relegated, it's still a stinker. But could you imagine if we had and that had happened? I'd have probably give up on football.
Relegated, we'd have beat Arsenal last day of the season. You know it.
When they've done what Fulham did to us, was it last year?
Bournemouth as well.
Yeah, honestly, mate, it's been a very, very tough season that I think a lot of Everton fans are sort of hoping we don't experience again for a very long time. It'd be nice to see us. One thing I did think after the Palace game and watching the celebrations of staying up, it'd be nice to see us win something, because
look at the way we celebrated surviving relegation. We survived finishing 16th, better than Liverpool have bloody winning the FA Cup and stuff.
Honestly, I said this to my dad. If we'd managed to win a cup before we leave Goodison, I don't think they'll need the demolition squad to come in to tear it down. I think the fans would tear it down in just pure ecstasy.
Oh yeah,
it's like it's one of those where you watch it and like you should never be entitled FC or anything and go, oh, those. But you can easily say our fans at least deserve something a bit better to shout about than the second to last game survival. 16.
Yeah, we deserve
the
something.
passion.
Even a Carabao Cup. I'll take a League Cup. You know what I mean? I'm not picky.
We've always got the Florida Cup, I guess, but I would take a league. I'd take a League Cup. I'd take an FA Cup. I'd take that Conference League Cup. I'd honestly
the Premier League
pre-season. Oh, I'd love the Prem, like, but anything that's not a pre-season tournament, I'd happily take. I think after all the hurt that the fans have had, I think we're due a little bit of good. Surely,
Oh yeah,
I'll look.
I'm cheeky £5 bet on Everton to win the quadruple next year. Just because the gods hate Liverpool and that's their way of rubbing it in.
I swear you had a bet for us to win the cup this year.
Don't talk
I
about
swear
it.
it was you that said it.
It wasn't me. And the
I was gonna say,
quadruple of the Premier League, the Carabao Cup, the FA Cup, and back-to-back Florida Cup champions.
where it be? Is it in Florida this year or is it Minnesota?
Wait, and they're still calling it the Florida Cup?
Oh, is it definitely going back to? I just know Minnesota United or whatever. I think it's Minnesota United are in it.
I think we're doing the Florida Cup and then playing them after in a friendly, or just before.
Oh well. Now you've said that, we'll end up losing that. Begovic will be in goal and won't save a single penalty.
So, I'm definitely putting a fiver on us to win the Premier League, though. It's got to be done.
I must admit, I will not be doing that. I quite like my money. Quite like my money being where it is.
Gamble responsibly. What I'm doing is a guaranteed win, so make sure you gamble responsibly.
It should be interesting. Hopefully, by pre-season, we'll have some good new faces as well in there to get everyone excited. That is all we've got time for today, though. Don't forget to like the stream before you leave. If you're about to leave and you've been watching it live with us, if you're watching the video back on YouTube, don't forget to like it as well. I'd massively appreciate that. Thank you for everyone in the comments for chatting along with us, giving us some good transfer gossip to talk about. If you're on YouTube, let us know who you want us to get next in the summer and give us your overall thoughts on the season. I'm sure they'll be entertaining to watch and read. Cal, thank you for joining me, mate. It's been a pleasure to speak to you.
Yeah, thank you for having me on.
No worries. And don't forget, guys, we've got plenty more stuff coming out. We've also got the Toffee Blue shop. Sorry, you can get the Richarlison t-shirt and cup with him flowing the flare. The Iwobi One Kenobi cup and t-shirt as well. If he does leave in the summer, it might be worth getting the t-shirt now, guys, just before he leaves. Just put it out there.
I'm buying that.
I'm a salesman. I'll get the top now because he might not be there next season. But take care, guys, and we'll speak very soon.